Welcome to tutorial 3, couching Bayeux style. What I wanted to show you first of all, these lines, you can see the different directions in these lines. This is your couching line, your couching stitch. And you can see these ones are going across the horse's neck and down his shoulder. And they're going down on his rump. And on his leg, you can see it changes direction here. It's coming down the shoulder and then it starts to go across his upper leg. The direction of this couching line has been taken closely from the original tapestry. I've taken very careful attention of their original direction. I'm calling it the couching direction, so if you're working from the kit or the instructions, this is what I mean by the couching direction. It's these lines, these fine lines. This is this final stitch that we're doing today. When you receive your kit or instructions, I will have the direction of the couching lines marked on it. You can see we've gone across the horse's neck, down his shoulder, and it's changed direction there. So all of my kits and instruction sheets that have the Bayeux stitch in them will have these direction of couching. Another example of the direction of couching is in this Bayeux lion, and I just wanted to show you with this example of how the lines can curve. This is the stage in your stitching where it almost transforms before your eyes. This is the stage that I love the most. It's where these images from the past come to life before our very eyes. And again, in all of my kits, I have paid very careful attention to the original direction of the couching. It's very clear here. That's your direction of couching. Okay, so let's get on to our stitch with our little project of the sword. So this is our sword project where we did stem stitch to outline and we did the satin stitch to fill in blocks of colour. Remembering particularly is that we don't have long strands on the back. So those two stitches were covered in tutorial 1 and 2. For couching, it's normally done in the same colour thread unless it's specifically indicated to be otherwise. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's in the same stitch. So you're going to come up at the edge and you're going to go work from edge to edge, and the important concept here is that you're going to be going across the satin stitching, and that's your direction. So your couching direction is always going to be across your satin stitching at right angles. So if you want to know exactly, make sure you've got a neat line, you can just lay it across and just go down. If you end up with bald spots, you can pierce. You can just ever so slightly pierce that stem stitch. Just move it out. Often a thumb placed down keeps it really neat. The next stage of couching is to just that strand that you just moved across, that you just put across, will be held in place by little tiny stitches. So it's just going to be held down by one stitch and probably a second stitch. And this is all throughout the Bayeux Tapestry, these wonderful little stitches. So we'll come down again. I've chosen probably about 1/4 of an inch apart. You can have them closer together if you're working in a tiny area. I wouldn't make them too much larger apart if you're working on a large area. 1 centimetre apart max. So I can lay that across, find my neat line. The evenness and consistency is beautiful in this stitch. I have just pierced the edge of my stem stitch there because I've got a bit of a bald spot. Now this is the key to couching. It goes, you must do it staggered, as in laying bricks. So where I have got a little stitch there and there, I'm now going to put a stitch in the middle. They must be staggered, and that's the key to this stitch. So we'll come up again. Find where we want it. Down, working from edge to edge. And so we're going to stagger it, so we do not want to come directly underneath the stitch on the previous couching line. So I'm going to hold that down with my thumb and I'm going to go back out to the edges. And that pretty much is couching stitch Bayeux style. I wish I could show you images of the original. I'm not sure of the copyright laws because I would be using someone's photographs of the original tapestry. So it's more about copyright laws about using those photographs. So see how that's staggered. So this concept of staggering is applied. It doesn't matter if you're couching from edge to edge in a tiny area like this or even smaller, or whether you're going across a horse's rump and it's that long. The whole time, don't pull it tight. See how it's caused that bald spot? So don't reef it. Just nice and firm. Hold it in place with your thumbs if you want. And you will find that your embroidery will come alive before your very eyes. I just love this stitch. And to be following the direction that they used in the original tapestry, I just love it. I absolutely love it. So all the very best with your stitching. I hope you enjoy and enjoy seeing these wonderful images come alive. Okay.